Hello, everyone. Welcome to Williams Lyceum. I'm your host, Liam, aka Hamvar, and today it is my weekly update, but also a little bit more than that. And I say a little bit because it's just gonna be a little bit. I am really tired, as I normally am, to be honest, but I also was a little under the weather this week, and so I'm just not feeling this right now. But here I am. As far as my weekly reading is concerned, I finished one book. So, that it was Conquered, by, um, Eleanor Parker. It was a wonderful book. I'll probably have a separate video on that soon rather than doing, like, a review like I do for most of the fiction books I read. Oh, probably. Oh, goodness gracious. I apologize. I'll probably have a video come out for that, like a Wednesday video. And then I have been reading other stuff. I'm really close to finishing No Man's Land by Simon Tolkien. It's okay. I'll have more thoughts later, but I want to get to the other point of this video. Um, I did get my copy of The House of Noth, or Noth, Noth, I assume, by Philip Wortman today. Wortman? Anyway, and it was sitting on my desk when I got home from work. So it's nice. It's got lots of illustrations and stuff. I think they're all by the author as well. So looking, I think I mentioned it last week. I was starting to listen to it, and I felt like I needed to read it. So, I also am not very far in still, but making progress in Paradise Lost. Also, I mentioned last week that I need to be reading my Xdalis Saga for my class, my last week of class this week. I'm still reading it. So, I had my essay I had to do last week for class. I turned that in. I think that's half the reason I just worn myself out. Because I had to do my essay, and I had to do my before that I had to do my homily reading, and then after I finished my essay, I did my lecture for that homily reading. Those are on my Alfred's Homily Project channel, but just a lot of work, a lot of late nights. I pretty much only record at night, and that is kind of a problem. I feel like it's getting there at least. Oh, another book I got this week, really cheap copy of The Fairy Queen by Edmund Spencer. You tell it's cheap, look how worn out it is. But I actually did start this, but I'm really not that far into it right now. I think I might finish Paradise Lost before I really dig into this. Sorry, wow. I didn't get my hat for this year. And then also digitally, which, all right, well, I'll mention that. Digitally, I'm reading Doctor Universalis. I don't even remember it's by Gaston, I guess, say it in English. I don't know if it's English person or French person. Don't tell me. Gaston Nergal. It's short, it's novella, right around the year 1200, I guess. A young student of theology named Albert is going on an adventure, essentially a quest to help some higher ups, essentially claim some relics from the Holy Land. Holy, I apologize. I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm like halfway through in Constantinople right now. It is good stuff. I'm enjoying it. I just haven't had much time to read it yet. And then other thing I'm barely into at all, just a few chapters, is Road to the Patriarch by R.A. Salvatore. This one hopefully is a little better. I don't know. The last Swords book was better than most Salvatore I've read. Still had its problems, but Salvatore was just not very good, unfortunately. Let's see how this one goes. Oh, I don't have them. That's what I was going to say. I have the first Sellsword book, Servant of the Shard. I've been reading these digitally. The Promise of the Witch King, and then also this one now, Road to the Patriarch. So I'd like to get those physically. I liked every Forgotten Realms book I'd like to physically have as well. That's part of the quest, kind of. So, anyways, I think that is all my reading. So let's talk. Oh no, that's not true. 2 short stories I read this week. I actually read a good amount of poetry as well, and mostly it was just in. So the stories I read were in Corn Creek magazine, which I've been looking at lately, and I, I like what they have to offer. I think it could use a little bit of tidying up sometimes, but I think it's uh, got a lot of good stuff in it still, um, and it's not like garishly bad or anything. But let's see what the poetry was in this July issue of 2025. I just want to get the author's name right. I think it's Snelling, the poetry of T.D.J. Snelling. So I read all the poems in this issue this week. So Ode to Ruin, The Lady of the Lake, Standing Stones, Percival's Vision at the Hermit's Cell, The Dance of Oak and Holly, English Summer Days. They're good. I enjoyed it. One thing I enjoyed about it is that this is new poetry. They do republish poetry too, like William Morris stuff and whatnot. But one thing I like about it is that it's actually poetry. Like that's one of my criticisms I have on modern poetry is that it's really not even poetry at all. I don't know what to do with this. It doesn't actually follow any versification rules at all, and it's pretty much just prose, and that's not poetry. And often it's really just trying to not worth it. So I like it when people do the. I know that's very much like a pre-modernity thing, capital M modernity, but it's better. It's just better. Sorry, I know there's a tendency to throw out all the rules, right? Oh, we've followed these rules for centuries. We don't need them. Right, well, it's like there's a reason those are the rules. It's because they worked well, okay, and they sounded good, right? You throw out all the rules, and then it doesn't sound good automatically, and then unless you're like T.S. Eliot, but and if you're not T.S. Eliot, then it doesn't. Sorry. Anyway, um, so I read those poems, and those are good. The rhyme and meter and whatnot. Right, I like it. And then I read the story "The Night of Worms Wood." I think it's by Alexander. That's one thing that some people they use. There seems to get a good amount of pen names in Corn Creek, but this person just has one name, Alexander, no last name attached to the work. But I did like the Knights of Wormwood. It's really short, just one page, a rather straightforward tale, and it's a good one about a knight in a forest with a dragon, right? But worms wood instead of forest and dragon, dragon forest because it's it is that's the point, I guess. Actually, that the experiment with the story is to be written in English. English, if you're unaware, is like English, modern English dialect without like borrowings from other languages. Um, I would just say this. Okay, I think it's a fun experiment idea, but I think one of the strengths of English is just how easy English borrows from other things, right? I will say that one thing I don't like about, say, modern English, and it's not necessarily part of modern English, it's just that sometimes you'll get words that did exist at one point in English, and we now have a new word for it, and we didn't keep the old word. I like having all the words, essentially. Like we still have graveyard and cemetery, for example. We didn't take cemetery and then get rid of graveyard, right? But sometimes we do, right? And I don't like that. Two things on some of the words in here though that I thought were interesting choice as far as this English idea is concerned. Anyways, I don't remember the replacements for these English replacements, but there was a replacement for like ghostly, I think, and there was a replacement for sin, which is just weird to me because ghostly is from Old English, it is Germanic, and sin is the same, right? So I don't know why those ones were changed. I mean, maybe they would be synonymous, and that ghostly and sin would still work in English, and the author just chose not to use it. I don't know. And then another one I read, something that's I don't want to say Christian undertones, it's actually just openly Christian, and that is A Midwinter's Night Dream by Philip. I don't want to say Wortman, maybe, I don't know. But all those languages that change their W's to V sound, and I'm not sure how to say it sometimes. Same author wrote this. This is in the December issue of Corn Creek from last year, and I really enjoyed this one though. It really hit the spot. I mean, A Midwinter's Night Dream. It's a nice play on Midsummer's Night Dream, of course, but by Shakespeare. And I read it right around midsummer, which is a little ironic, but it's good. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about it besides that it's about like some pagan lord and his confrontation with like a Christian priest, kind of. Very obviously biased in favor of the Christian priest, but reminiscent of something like Coify, and Christian missionaries in Northumbria or something. All right. Anyways, now that that's done, that took me longer than I wanted to. That's the weekly update, guys. But today, when this video comes out, the 20th, I'm recording this the night before, is 4 years of this channel, Liam's Lyceum. So yay. Woo. Normally I have a separate video for this. I'm super exhausted. I don't have the energy to make one. So I don't know. It's been good. I just wanted to acknowledge that it's been 4 years. This project actually came about mostly from my Forgotten Realms Lyceum, which is my blog, which that turned 5 in March. I started it right before actually all that stuff going on in early 2020 happened, but and this is a continuation kind of that project. I mean, I mostly wanted to talk about books I didn't see people talk about. Right? I mean, because like one thing that I've noticed on YouTube for several years is that it's well, at least more so when I started my channel, and more so even I think maybe when I first started watching BookTube, which would have been way back in like 2014, maybe, so 11 years ago, is that it's a lot of just the same stuff, right? Same books, same opinions. I mean, there's a handful of variety of opinions on the same books, but not a lot. And so I found that I was like, I want to read stuff. I like reading stuff that not everyone talks about, and so I want to talk about it. And I wanted to even put some information out there, material out there that was informative, and so that's been my goal. Kind of, it's it is interesting to look back because 4 years ago I was living in Colorado at the time. I don't live there now, and I haven't lived there for like 3.5 years. I only lived there for the first half year of my channel. And I've been in Idaho most of the time. At the time, also, I was a stay-at-home dad, and so I think I mentioned that in my first videos. And so I had the time, since I wasn't in school. 2021, that was the whole year I didn't go to school because of how bad the online experience of the school was for later 2020 for me. So and then I went back to school, but a different school, and that was in Idaho, which is why I'm here now. And what's funny actually is that today is also 2 years ago, was exactly when I graduated from the school in Idaho. I haven't left, but it's been a useful degree. The degree I got was useful. I'm happy to learn the things I have learned, and it's even helped with the material for this channel quite a bit, I'd say. And then also this channel is like projects, the Alfred Talmud project's kind of an offshoot of this channel. But yeah, it's been nice. 4 years, it's a long time. I have over 1,000 videos now. Not hit that, but somewhat recently. I hit 500 reviews somewhat recently. So I hope it's useful material. I like to use the word material. That's what I want it to be. I know a lot of it's really straightforward and very bare bones sometimes. I know some of those reviews are literally 2 minutes or whatever, but something, I guess. I wanted this to kind of be a place for learning about fiction, right, that most people don't cover normally. In a way, I wanted it to be one of the most informative places you could come to discover fantasy and science fiction a little bit as well. And I think I do an okay job at that. So in that same vein, though, I've tried to talk about older stuff that I normally study for class. Whether that's only a little knowledge, I just kind of want to teach in that sense. But this has been a good practice for me. But again, it's also one of the reasons I thought that the Lyceum was an appropriate title. after the school of Aristotle in Athens. Um, but also because it rhymes and alliterates with Liam, which is great. So, anyways, but it's also I mean I don't my writing and stuff has not been the focus of this channel by any means. I had one published poem when I started this channel, and I mean since I started the channel now I've had several short stories published and a novella out as well. So that's nice. And lots of people along the way. I mean, I have some pretty popular videos out there, which is nice. I don't really make videos to be popular, but some of them are anyways. And there's some good ones. So, and some good people have stuck around or come say hi. Maybe they haven't watched a video in years, right? I hope the videos have improved. They probably haven't really changed much at all. I've gotten more comfortable probably on camera, and also if you go back to those earliest videos, I'm not like super sure. Like the channel looks a bit more like booktube stuff. At this point, I don't really even consider myself all that much part of booktube because I'm not even sure what that means in some sense, or rather, what I associate with booktube. Though Raph did a video on saying it didn't exist, essentially, but what I associate with booktube is not generally what I focus on. And so, in some sense, I don't consider myself part of that, right? I bit more educational leaning first off, and then heavily review focused as far as stuff that is more in line with booktube, and booktube is not actually heavily review focused. So, and the way I do them anyways is not how almost anyone does them. So I'm doing my own thing, which is fine by me. That being said, I like a lot of people on booktube. Well, I like some of you guys. No, and I watch some of it still. I've actually started unsubscribing from people that I don't really find worthwhile watching. I used to be just subscribe and support, but that's neither here nor there. But there's some good stuff out there, and I hope I'm adding to it. But again, thank you for sticking with me or coming by, or at least for a part of the journey, or if you're new here or you're old. 4 years is not that long, I guess, though I was like in my early kind of mid 20s when I started this channel, and now I'm much closer to 30. And I have one more child as well than I did when I started the channel. And those children were very young when I started this channel. But yeah, anyways, it's been fun. I don't know what else to say. Hopefully we can do it for 4 more years. Hopefully we can do it for 40. I don't know. YouTube's not that old. It's 20, I guess, years old, and I've been watching it since about the beginning. So, but we'll see what it looks like later. And I know I'm beholden to another thing, right? But YouTube is very popular. Like, and I'm not in charge of this platform, is what I'm saying. YouTube is very popular, but I hope in some sense that this is a good place to then therefore put things. I mean, like in some sense, especially with like more academic minded stuff or my research or whatever. Um, I would like to get actually published in like academic journals. That is something I want to work on here soon when I find the time. But one of the reasons I put it on YouTube is because that's where I think that's accessibility. I mean, like people don't read academic journals unless you're in academia. To be honest, they're expensive. I like reading them, right? But like my Alfred Cholmondeley project, like that is where it is for accessibility, right? I want people to actually, um, whether they're talking to me about it at all, but to actually be able to participate in it throughout the year easily. Anyways, I'll shut up now. I'm really tired. Um, and you already knew that. And I am a broken record. So thank you. I will get going now.